Triple your pattern making in 3 easy steps. Step 1 is scan, step 2, convert to CAD, and step 3, flatten 3D to 2D. This is ExactFlat Scan to Pattern, and we'll show you how. Okay, welcome back to another video. And here in this video we have a tank which is going to be used in cold weather climates, and we're going to scan this tank for the purpose of creating insulation covers. We're going to put 3 layers of insulation covers on this tank. One is an outer layer for protection, the second layer is for insulation, and the next layer is for contact with the tank itself. On the screen we have Mark Jewell from ExactFlat. Mark is actually working the scanner right now, and we also have Peter Warburton from PO3D, who is the head of the Creaform's PO3D division. You can see that we have a tank here, and Mark is scanning the tank right now, and we'll just wait for him to move out of the way, but you can see that there's little targets on the tank. These are these dots. You can see them being picked up in the scan. The dots are for picking up the scan because this is a very shiny surface and they help with shiny surfaces. There's 3 ways you can use the scanner. One is to use the scanner to pick up geometry. The second way is to pick up textures. And the third way is to pick up these targets or these dots here. You can use either way depending on the particular part that you're scanning. If you wanted graphics, you could scan and pick up the graphics. You would use the texture mode, and here we're using the target mode. It's a shiny reflective surface, so the targets aid in differentiating different sections of the geometry. And you can see this is a very symmetrical part too. So the targets will help in making the scan very quick and efficient. And you can see Mark is scanning, and there's a little bar on the left-hand side in the scanner window. That bar represents distance. When you get your scanner, or if you're new to scanning, what you have to do is you have to keep your scanner approximately 30 to 40 centimeters away from your part. And that bar gives you a distance indicator. If the little white line drifts towards the top, you are getting too far, and too close. And if the little white line drifts towards the bottom, you are getting too far away. And good scanning technique involves holding the scanner in such a way that you are orbiting the part. So you want to kind of sweep your hand across the part and hold it in such a way that you're perpendicular to the part you're scanning. You don't want to scan at an angle. It can certainly pick up targets at an angle, but it is better if you hold it in such a way that it is perpendicular to the part. You can see Mark is scanning overhead right now, and he's holding it perpendicular. Now Mark is pretty new to the scanning process. He's not an expert in this particular part of the workflow. Peter certainly is. And you can also see here that we can easily change the orientation of the part. The reason we can do that is because the targets are on there, and all that you have to do, or all that you have to keep in mind, is to when you start the scanning process again, you start from a known location, and the known location will allow the scanner to pick up its reference geometry and then continue scanning without interruption. And you could move this around, you could tilt it over, and you can see we're going to do that right now. We're going to tilt it over to get to some of the more difficult to reach parts, like the bottom or the top, and you can see there's targets down there as well as. What Peter is just instructing Mark to do is to scan again at a 90-degree angle and kind of orbit and sweep across the part that you're scanning. And you can see down in the bottom right there the progress for the scanner picking up the part. You can also see there that there's some unwanted geometry. That's the table. So we have some of the table being captured here. We're going to show you how to remove that. That is not a problem. The software that comes with the PL to CAD scanner can easily accommodate getting rid of that very easily. So you need not be too precise. Although you want to set up your workflow in such a way that you avoid those things as much as possible. The other thing you want to keep in mind when scanning is it's kind of, if you conceptualize like a can of spray paint, if you hold the spray paint on one location, you're going to overpaint a surface and potentially the paint will run. Well, of course, there's no paint involved when you're scanning, it's just light. But what will happen is you will, if you hold the scanner in a location that is longer than necessary, you add density to your mesh, the polygonal mesh that the scanner will generate. And so you will have increased density of triangles that don't add any value. They just take processing overhead. So it is best not to do that. It is best to scan in such a way that you are picking up the geometry that you need and not overscanning and not underscanning. Now, if you do happen to overscan or underscan, again, it's not a problem. There are tools that can be used to accommodate and fix those artifacts. However, if you're doing a lot of these, you'll want to set your workflow up in such a way that you don't have that problem. Now here we're processing the scan. This is the first part of the scan. And we're just going to have a look and see as we go into the software here and see what we picked up. And you can see that there are portions that look pretty good and there are portions where there are some holes. We can stop the scanning process midway through and evaluate the work that's being done and go back and fix or rescan areas that we need to get extra detail. So it looks like in this particular instance, we're going to have to do that. So I'm going to reorient the part right now to get to the sections that we want to rescan. And as Peter and Mark put that into place, you'll see that once we start the scanning process again, we just go over to the top left and click start. There we go. And now we're going to start the scanner, and there we go. We can start to get some of that geometry that was missed. Now the scanner does have tools to fill in holes. We're going to show you that in the next section when it comes to converting to CAD. But in this instance, you can see you can easily restart your scan and capture the geometry that you did not get. You can position your part in any orientation. And again, if you're doing a lot of these, what you'll want to do is set up your workstation and your workflow in such a way that it's easy. So here we're just going to pause the scan and process it. And I'm also going to show you how to get rid of some of that excess detail that we picked up where the scanner captured some geometry from the table. So let's go into it. Let's just have a quick look and evaluate our scan. We'll just move around here, and it actually looks pretty good. There are some holes in there, but we are going to leave those deliberately. Now what we do is we select this tool here. We just click on that, and we just click anywhere on the surface that we want to keep. You see it was just highlighted in orange there, and you can see the parts that were not highlighted, they are out of it. So what we're going to do is invert the selection. That means we're going to take everything except the parts we want, and then we're going to hit the delete key. And that's it. You select the section you want. You hit the invert key to select the sections that are undesirable, and then you hit delete. And that's how quick and easy it is to delete the sections of your scanning process that you did not want to capture. Now, as I said, there are some holes here. We're going to show you in the next process how to fix the holes, but that's the end of part 1. This concludes part 1 on how to scan your part. In the next section, we cover how to convert your scan to 3D CAD. It's part of our video series on how to triple your pattern making in 3 easy steps using ExactFlat Scan to Pattern. It's the faster, better, cheaper, and easier way to create patterns for all your products. Be sure to check out our next video. You can also contact us at your convenience for a demo or to learn more. We'll show you how.